Hey everyone, welcome to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time, available on most major podcast platforms, including YouTube. So please subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Tonight we are covering Fear the Walking Dead, episode 8 of season 8. For those of you joining us live tonight, thanks for taking time out of your evening to be here. I'm your oh my gosh, I can't talk today. I am your host Tamara, and I love a good TV show and a good book. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at the Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co-host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey Tamara, hey everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I am also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. So if you would like to connect with me online, you can pretty much find me anywhere at Lisa Orban Author or at Indies United Pub.
All right. So before we get started, of course, we'd like to remind you that we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you're listening live on YouTube, hit us up in the comments section. If you are catching this on a replay, you can still comment on any platform, or you can even use the voicemail link in the show notes. If you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Right. No scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around a lot. And of course, huge spoiler alert for every show in the world through yesterday's episode. So if you're cool with that, this is the place for you. And let's jump to it. Episode 8. What did you think?
I didn't like it.
You didn't.
I did not.
Okay. I'm like kind of relieved to hear that because I mean, I didn't hate it, but I was laughing through most of it. And I'm like, the crazy writing, the idiocy of the decisions and the things coming out of people's mouths, I was like laughing through most of it. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Okay, to begin with, so you know what's her name? The one I hate, Madison.
Madison,
Send off, help me out. Oh,
Charlie.
Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
For revenge for her son, whatever.
Yes.
So, but then she feels bad. She gets her on the fucking radio. Sorry. And then, and she's like, no, come on back. And Charlie's like, no, can't come back. I can't. I'm surrounded
Mm-hmm.
here. And at that point, Madison should have gotten off the radio and headed
Yes.
back to Louisiana. Her.
Luciana, yes.
Okay, guys, I just got back from New Orleans and I'm a little hazy. You're all gonna have to deal. Okay, but yeah, she should have immediately handed that mic back to her, because at that point, you know, it wouldn't have gone quite as badly. At least there wouldn't have been that direct connection to Madison.
Yeah, I agree. As soon as she figured out she was trapped, she should have stopped talking. But instead, she says her name again. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are
Right.
you trying to get her in trouble? Like, it didn't make sense to me.
After watching this episode, I have noticed a theme.
Okay, what's the theme?
Every time these people go to any other community, they destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If any of this main group from Fear the Walking Dead shows up at your doorstep, just assume your community is going to be wiped out.
Yeah, basically, because trouble follows them.
Right. And and part of it is just because they're doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And it, okay, so they go in to get the oil or the gas. Are you sure this is the place? Yep, this is the place. And they go in, and the first thing Madison does, when she sees that walker without an arm, bang, 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 on a glass door.
I know. It's like, what is wrong? She does a lot of dumb things. Like, are you kidding me?
Right. And that was just the beginning of the dumb things. But it wasn't even just her, because once, uh, Louisiana, no,
Luciana.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
Luciana comes on the scene,
Yep.
and they save their butts and then basically say, "Hey, I need to protect my people," which I think was a smart move on her side,
Yes.
considering the destruction that the others do.
Yes.
And but instead of respecting that, they're barging on it. Rump. No, we're not going to stay where we're told. We're not going to do what we're told, and everything turns to hell.
Yeah.
Of course, no one told her, how her son died.
And it's interesting because, yes, when she found Victor again, things went kind of crazy
Right,
really quickly.
right.
So it's not like he had a chance to be like, "Hey, wait, let me tell you something." Um but on the flip side, I think maybe he should have told her, but
Well, I mean, she knows he died, and
yes.
and I think part of the reason he didn't say anything was because she had brought Charlie in, and Charlie's the one that killed her son, and I don't think Strand or anyone else wanted her to feel that guilt that it was kind of her fault.
Yeah, I didn't think that deep into it. I just thought that he literally said, "I thought she was dead, dude. I didn't know she was alive." It didn't matter.
It
If
didn't
Charlie
matter,
was dead, it didn't matter.
right? If Charlie was dead, her son's dead.
Yeah,
All these people are gone.
right.
And the fact is, up to this last episode, everyone had already known that her daughter was dead.
Yeah.
So now, but it's almost as if they're making it as she had died just yesterday. When she took off walking into the sunset and left everyone, let everyone else stroll on down the river on their own, with Strand trailing behind. The fact is
Yeah.
they all assumed that she was going to die.
Yeah, they did.
That was the whole point. That's why she stayed behind, because she knew she wasn't doing well, and she didn't want to turn while they were stuck in those boats.
Yeah, but I've like after last episode, I've really come to the point of feeling if I don't see a body or a walker, they are totally alive.
Right. And
Um yeah.
I didn't even like the fact that they brought Charlie back.
So look, when they show Charlie, so when the girl starts stepping out the truck, I'm like, who the hell is this? And then when I saw Charlie, I'm like, oh my God, this girl survived radiation. She was on death's door. She was
Right.
going to die.
Yeah.
And miraculously, here she is, just to die again in the same episode. I'm like, what the?
I
What
mean,
a throwaway.
they could have thrown anyone else in there. Honestly, they could have. I mean, any other character that they had thought was alive. They could have thrown June in there, for God's sakes.
Look, the writers, in my opinion, are all making drama for the sake of drama.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really have to make sense. We just want Madison to go through this huge range of emotion. Although it's kind of stupid to me, being that, okay, so she's not been a good person for the last 7 years, right? She's not been doing good things. She's
Right.
been kidnapping kids, but yet they want to put out this vibe that she's like really a good person and above reproach, but she's not. She's just as
No.
bad as everyone else.
Yeah. She has done some absolutely bad things.
Yeah. So I don't feel bad for her. It's like, yeah, your son died, but you should have grieved him by now. You know what I mean? When Morgan met you, he told you they were dead.
Right. That they were both dead, and he gave
Yeah.
her some details, but he wasn't there when they died.
No, he was going off of what he heard.
Right.
But by that time, that was 7 years ago. How could you not even learning new information, right? Learning new information, of course, it might have shocked you, right? But can we not act like you just learned they died yesterday?
Right. And the fact is she had thought that entire time that she was a collector that her kids were dead.
Yeah.
So she, she never went looking for them. She never went, nothing.
No.
So it just, she had already grieved their loss.
Right.
And,
And she
and
was trying to do something good with Padre in lieu of her kids, for her kids.
right. And, the fact that she sent Charlie out and the fact that Charlie went out so quickly, just none of it made sense. By the way, her hair looks really fake.
I'm like, why
Um,
is her hair so dark? Like, what the heck?
what must
They,
have been radiated. I don't know.
I'm like, they got some hair dye out there. They found some, just for me or, hair dye or some crap. I don't know.
Something. And again, Madison, and honestly, Charlie made a really good point that Madison really should have understood. I was 11 years old.
Yes.
I was being manipulated by all the adults around me, and that did include her.
And the irony, I actually remembered how old she was, like, before she said it. I was like, "Give her a break, she was a child." She was, like, 11 or 12, and then
Right,
she's like, "I was 11." I'm like, "Oh my god, I actually remembered."
right. Because she was a kid,
Yeah.
and this had been, she had lost both of her parents, and yeah, yeah. Karina just said she had radiation we saw before her hair falling out. So
Well, it's been 7 years, and they fixed the radiation. Does it not grow back?
yeah,
Or
it
is
would.
this supposed to be a wig? What is it?
I don't know.
They never got into that. I guess it doesn't really matter in
It
the scheme of
doesn't
things.
matter.
Um,
I mean, maybe she has a wig on. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, just the way Madison is reacting as if these her kids had just died yesterday
it's
is
aggravating.
it's aggravating, and the fact that she is making everyone do all of these things to more or less avenge her children is just a waste of everyone's time.
And you know what? Daniel said it perfectly in the end. You haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
You're the same person. She's literally the same character. All this growth supposedly she's done, all this, processing and trying to do the right thing and be better. It's all trash. Like, you see Troy and you go ape shit. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, she just loses it. And can I just say, so we're talking about Madison doing dumb stuff, right? So she, after they have that little confrontation, she goes, they go to rescue Charlie. And of course, I'm like, of course, they're going to rescue her, right? So she goes to rescue Charlie. And then, after they're out there, she's negotiating for her and all of this.
Well,
Huh?
not doing well.
No, not doing it well. And of course, then Charlie does what she does, which I'm like, oh my God, really? Okay. So I was kind of annoyed with that, but that happens. And then all of a sudden, Madison's like, yeah, deal's off. No problem. They're fighting again. And then they're fighting. He runs off to look for Tracy, his daughter, and she goes to like help him. So it's like she's got bipolar or something. It's like,
Well, now a child's involved.
yeah, it's a child, so let me go help. But then the minute she figures out that he was cutting off limbs, she goes apeshit again. And she's like trying to like knock his head off with a sledgehammer again. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, this girl is so bipolar. I'm like laughing when she swings the sledgehammer at him. I'm just dying. I'm giggling. I'm like, what is this? Like, are we doing this or what? Like, I don't know. I don't find it good. I find it laughable.
Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, so Madison, the daughter's name is. Help me out.
Who's oh, Tracy?
No,
Who?
Madison's daughter,
Oh, Alicia?
Alicia. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb here on a crazy theory that Alicia is gonna be Tracy's mom.
No, no, hell no. Hell no. Okay, you
I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying it's a good idea.
how
What
is it
I'm s
even possible? How?
I don't know. We did say, that she was, or there were people that have said that the reason that she was so sick was because she was pregnant, but you'd think that someone she would have mentioned Troy to somebody. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay, so how long was season 7? How long was it?
I don't know.
Because we're humans and it only takes like 9 months to have a
Mhm.
baby.
Right.
So,
Technically it's 10, but okay.
well, we're apocalypse, right? I bet everybody's having babies a little early. Let's give her that. Let's even say she has a earlier pregnancy. No, how? Like what time frame? Where would this fit? I don't quite I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I agree to say she hated Troy. And I'm not okay, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Karina. One, I didn't watch any of that season. I have no idea what happened. I don't know why all these people are mad at each other. Okay? Really don't. And honestly, don't really care. Didn't like that particular seat or that part of it. Um, but I'm just gonna go out here and limb because they're already doing stupid stuff. The whole overreaction with Madison, bringing up Alicia, the whole, Charlie killed my son,
Oh
and
god. I just
everyone,
assumed it was an adopted daughter. Like, oh, I found this kid, now she's my daughter.
right? Which again, if it's adopted daughter, could still be Alicia's.
I will lose my shit if that is what it is. I will not be a happy person at all. I will be like, they literally just throw stuff on the wall and hope it sticks. Like, what kind of plotting is this? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
The things that they were having them do to me looked so forced that the actors, you could tell they were acting.
Yes, it was very comical. It was very cartoonish. I'm like, it felt like I was watching a bad play.
Right. Exactly. And part of the reason, this is part of the reason I didn't like the previous seasons that had Madison in it. It just seemed over the Madison's reactions to everything since the very first episode that she was in were always over the top.
Yes.
And she was she was always all over the place, and she never had loyalty. And even now, so and the thing, and again, it has been over 7 years, and since she's lost her kids, she's had
Yeah.
time to grieve, she's had time to let them go. She knows that they were, Morgan told her that they had both died. She knew. The details doesn't matter because
Yeah.
it's the apocalypse.
And I mean, like I said, I understand your arch nemesis, someone you actually hate, claims that taking responsibility for killing your daughter. Yes, you would be pissed off. Yes, you might even want revenge. But like you said, the reactions are just so over the top. It's so much. And like thinking about this woman who can barely go like a bunch of minutes, like what, 20 minutes without having like all kind of breathing problems, and she needs to carry a oxygen tank everywhere. Where does she get off swinging sledgehammers?
Oh, I'm
Like
just trying to figure out where she gets all the air takes.
that's okay. Yeah. First, where are all the air takes coming from? Second, like why in the hell would you not just pick a knife? Why are you swinging this heavy ass sledgehammer? And he's like, uh, oh my god. So Victor even comes and he like gives her some oxygen. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I ever saw. Like, why is she doing that?
Well, and her and Victor are back to being best of buds.
Oh my god. So, and that's another problem I had with this episode. Everything like it's like season 7 didn't happen.
Right.
Like let's just erase it because everyone was pissed at Victor. They were mad at him for acting like a dictator
Right.
basically.
And everyone's just kind of good to see you, Victor.
Yeah, like
And
what?
according to him, the reason he went with the Germans is because they had just completely snubbed him.
Yeah.
And now everyone's like, hey, how's it going? Which does, I mean, all right, Madison coming back, all right, fine. But Strand, if that's the way that he left everything with everyone, even after 7 years, there would be some hesitation.
Yes. He's just back in the mix, like, no problem. It's like, even though, like, I don't and I did not go back and watch, so the details may be a little murky, but even that whole situation between Daniel and Luciana, like, yes, she did save his life by kind of volunteering to, protect, "I'll do this if you let him go." But
Mm-hmm.
what about her lying to him and how mad he was?
Yeah.
And so we're just bygones. I've been looking for you. Hey, we're for family again. Bygones. Let's just forget it. Don't even discuss it.
Well, and after 7 years, here's the thing. Why didn't she ever, on the sly, because she apparently was doing a whole bunch of things on the sly, reach out to Daniel and just say, here's the deal?
Yeah.
She could have,
Yeah.
but she didn't.
No, she didn't. And then, like, what about Daniel and his, like, memory problems? You know, it's like all of a sudden it's fixed just 7 years later, fixed, end of story. I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
I don't like it. It's like they just are ignoring, these are like clear plot holes to me.
Well, and here's the other thing, and this is the big thing I don't understand. Oh, we need fuel so that we can fight Troy. Why even fight him? He has no idea where Padre is. No one's been able to find Padre. Why not just go and hole up in Padre?
Yeah, why? He can't find it.
Because and part of it is if even if he does find Padre, it's a fortress.
It's so
And that's
stupid.
part of the reason he wants Padre is because he knows it's a safe location. Well, that and because it belongs to Madison is the big reason we all know. Because Charlie did point out, you've got a place right here.
Mhm.
I also want to point out that they took what was a really nice place, really nice, had electricity and chickens and food and omelet makers, and they're sitting there in the dark
I know.
in this. I mean, they have destroyed it. Like it's a some kind of den. And from the first episode, from the from yes or the last episode, they show this whole place, and it's beautiful and it's airy and it's
It's
light.
like a resort.
It's like a resort.
Yeah.
Well, it only took us an afternoon to take it.
But that's also doesn't make sense. If Troy has this daughter that he cares about and he's trying to imply that he wants Padre for her, and not just to be mean, then why would you wreck someplace that's perfectly good? If you have
Right.
kids with you, why are you doing that? It makes no sense.
I mean, they destroyed it. And with not I mean, they had no light in there except for candles. Did you notice that?
I didn't really notice it, but I knew it was wrecked.
Everything is by candlelight right now, which means that and when they took over the place, it's not like they did a big shootout thing. You know,
It
when
doesn't make sense.
when Madison and her group left, there were still lights on and there was still food. There was still a garden. There it was still protected. And if he was really concerned about people coming in and taking the place, he could have just had sentries posted, because the big problem with that place was they didn't have any sentries. That's
But
why they took it
see,
fast.
that ultimately, that's part of the problem with the writers on this show. There's no common sense when it comes to writing the story.
Right. None of it makes sense. And I would honestly just really like one just once this, the core group from, on Fear, to approach a community and not destroy it.
Yeah.
Because again, good community, bad community, these Germans had been surviving since the beginning of the apocalypse in this
Mhm.
place and had built this beautiful paradise. which other people apparently knew about because they would bring people in, and and others would find them. So they had had absolutely no problems until Madison showed up.
Yes,
And the minute her footsteps placed in there, is placed in there, everything goes to hell.
basically.
And
And that
then
she's the driver, right? They want her to be the star of the end of this, and it's not really working.
no, because they're having everyone do weird out of character things. And as far as, again, this group with Troy, why did they take basically what was a paradise and destroy it? What was the point? They could have lived there very comfortably.
And if their gripe was with Madison, why touch that place?
Right.
That's not her place.
Yeah. She doesn't live there. That's not her people. They just picked her up. They didn't know.
And just to like kind of piggyback around, like how we were talking about how Madison and Victor and them were like, we need gas to help fight Troy and his people.
Right. I guess
So
it's probably for the boats.
yeah, but Troy is so big and bad. You guys need to like get all these supplies and rev up. One minute you're thinking like this big, military style. We got to do all this stuff, and then 2 seconds later you're like, "Hey, let's send Charlie to kill him." What?
Right.
What the? That don't make any sense. So you think this girl can just stroll up in there and just kill him? Like
Well,
you?
Madison's reasoning is, well, you strolled into my place, into the stadium and destroyed it, and then you killed my son. So obviously this is something that you should do. And that's just dumb. I did you notice that there were the parallels of Charlie? So Charlie went into the stadium as an undercover, and then the stadium ended up going up in fire.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are again in another location with the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be real truthful. I'm a little irritated that they destroyed paradise in this show.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back around to that. Maybe we won't, because they just put all the people on Padre, right? They just told the people to go to Padre.
Right.
So
And so all of Victor's people are safe. And I don't know that it'll be as luxurious as what they had there in their on their resort. But again, as I understand it, they're pretty much self-sustainable there on the island. They only need a few things. And they have all the cargo containers except for apparently the 27 that
Luciana.
Louisiana has, not Louisiana. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Anyway, but you know, yeah, Karina just said Madison sent Charlie on a suicide mission.
That's what
She
I
wanted him
said.
to die. Yeah,
Yes, Karina. I said that is a suicide mission. And she took it.
yeah, and she rigged her tanker so because she
Yeah.
expected to die in it.
Yeah. She
So
did.
yeah, but
Which is like another one of my problems. I'm like, wait a minute. You do all of this. You survive all of this. You push through. You persevere. You're doing good stuff. And you just agree to just go off and die.
yeah, well, and even and it turns out that she's helped build this network, this huge sprawling network to help a lot of people.
I don't get it. It doesn't sound right to me.
Exactly. This entire episode was a whole bunch of people doing things that we all know a normal person would not do. Apocalypse or not, people act in particular ways.
Because I know if I were Charlie, she said it herself in her own dialogue.
Yeah,
I was a child. I felt bad. She took ownership of what she did. She was not in a place where she felt depressed about that anymore. She'd moved on. Why
you
in
know,
the hell would you say, I'm going to take one for the team like that? I just don't understand that at all.
well, and not just that, but I took, I felt so bad, and things happened, and I recovered my life when I thought I was going to die, and now I'm helping other people to make up for what I had done. I'm saving lots of lives for the one I took.
I would have preferred if that scene had went down with Madison showing her own growth and saying, "You know what, Charlie? I see that. And I don't like you anymore. I feel guilty for letting you in because this is what you did. But let's just part ways." You know? That's
Well, and
all she had to do.
especially after being told that everyone knew what Charlie had done, and everyone had forgiven her, including Alicia.
Yeah.
She was the first to forgive her. And at that point, again, Madison doesn't have to be your best bud or anything, but she can say, "You're right. You were 11 years old.
Yeah.
And if my daughter was mature enough to understand this,
Exactly.
I should be."
Exactly. But again, I don't even care if Madison said she never wanted to see her face again. I would have been okay with that too.
Right.
But don't send the girl off to die.
Well, and here's the other thing. Since apparently no one had told Madison what was going on, they could have kept it a secret a little bit longer.
They didn't have to say.
Then nobody had to say. They
Yeah,
didn't.
they didn't have to say it all.
Mm.
But that would have been willfully lying to her at that point.
Yeah, but when they could have told her is after they were away.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you something. I know you're going to hate me forever, but
Yeah. They could have completed the transaction. They could have gotten the gasoline. They could have, gone, or probably it's probably diesel, honestly, because it kind of looks like everything's running on diesel now, which is easier to refine. But they could have just waited, and Charlie could have pulled Victor aside, or anyone from that group could, that he knew, and said, "Hey, now that you know that Charlie's alive, just keep it under wraps. And once you're away, let her know what happened."
mhm.
Without Charlie being right there. And then, if she wants to talk to Charlie, we can make arrangements.
Right.
But no, everyone
No.
had to go. And again, um, you know, when they were asked, and even after she explained, "Listen, we've built this entire community, and this network, and we're using these trucks, and we're using the supplies that that uh, Padre had forgotten they had, or didn't know they had, and we're using it to actually fulfill the mission that Padre was supposed to fulfill, which is to get these supplies and help new communities and establish places and so on and so forth." They're doing it. They're actually doing the thing that Madison is claiming she wants to do, which is
Mhm.
why they went and looked for those cargo containers. It's why they went and killed all those walkers. It's why all of this. It's not just to reunite the children, it's to rebuild civilization using the container ships.
Right. Mhm.
And it's been however many years between taking over Padre and now, and she hasn't done that. Apparently they have not done that. They're just focusing on rebuilding Padre. But you know, Luciana and her group have been,
Yeah, they've been doing it.
and in my opinion, at this point, it should be her and her group that are in charge of Padre, and actually fulfilling the mission of that place,
Right.
because obviously Madison can't.
But Luciana has some valid points. She wanted to keep her people secret. She wanted to keep what they were doing secret. Like, more
Hmm.
exposure means more trouble,
Right.
more everything, which is what she didn't want. And which is why at the end, she's like, "Yeah, we're done. You got what you got. We're done."
Yeah. You are not getting any more fuel from us.
Yeah, because now we're all at risk because of you.
Hmm.
So I'm
And
not even mad at her. She got to protect her own people. And even Daniel was like, dude, I'm out.
yeah, I'm done. And I'm with, I'm with her,
Yeah.
because Madison's just a train wreck, and she should not be the face of this place. She should not be in charge because she was part of the problem.
But
And
I
she,
also think that her choice to leave at the end was also stupid because I do not feel like okay, so if we go on what Troy's reasoning was, right? He's pretty much said, "Why do you think we wanted that place?" blah blah blah. We find out about his daughter. Sounds like there may be other kids there based on when the guy came up and started telling him about what happened and why Tracy ran off.
hmm
It doesn't seem like they're going to just leave Padre alone and follow her off. They're not going to do that.
right,
They want Padre. So that's not going to, her walking away is not stopping anything.
right,
She owes it to them to protect the place.
right. Well, and Troy's like, I don't care about the people. They can leave. I just want a safe location. Well, one, that's kind of a dick move because everybody wants that.
Exactly.
And two, they were given a nice place that was relatively safe because it had been there since the beginning of the apocalypse, and it was thriving until they showed up.
Well, you know what else is stupid is wanting all those people to leave Padre because guess what? All that gardening and cooking and that's not done in a vacuum.
Right. And apparently his people don't know how to do it because they're sitting in the dark in candlelight, and I'll bet you by the end of the week, starving.
Mhm.
And we know for a fact that when last episode when that one new guy came in and Victor's showing him around and like, we're gonna fix your hand or your arm, and here's some medicine, and here's some deep fried food or what your fritters or whatever. Oh, and look at the omelet bar, you know. And we walk through the courtyard, and there's chickens and there's goats and there's all this food being grown.
I mean, hell, they're out there playing soccer game.
Yeah. There's a soccer game, and apparently there are teams and a school,
Yeah.
and it's
They
all
wrecked
gone.
that place.
And, so I mean, for it to be dark and desolate, I mean, they put a cage in that main room.
That just happened.
Yeah. So that he could chop off the arms of the walkers just
Which,
to
by the
taunt
way,
Madison.
was a whole nother like he seems like a walking idiot. Like you want to waste time cutting off arms of walkers just to harass Madison?
Hmm.
Like what in the hell? What are you doing? How can you be trying to protect people but you're doing this? It's really counterintuitive.
Right. Like I said, all of these people are acting in ways that real live human beings would not be doing.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm confused why people in general seem I feel like online it seems like team it's great this season and team it's shitty.
Yeah.
I'm team season 8B is shitty so far. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Well, they
I'm
really,
laughing.
and they really hyped it up. Oh, this is going to be like the best season finale, and we're going to wrap up things and yada, whatever.
They would have been
Because
better not to bring Kim Dickerson back, whatever her name is.
yeah,
Dickens. Don't
and
bring her.
and like I mean, and like I said, I hate Madison, and that's why I don't know who Troy is. I could not stand her. The other characters, yeah, whatever, but her, and I legitimately liked Victor at that time better than I liked her. She drove me nuts, and I gotta tell you, if I was in a zombie apocalypse party and a woman like that was in there, she would have had an accident.
You're like, we're gonna oops. I
It was
don't
a
know.
damn shame she walked right off that cliff without looking.
Yeah.
All right? Seriously.
And
because
then the story, so can I just like insert this? So this
yeah,
whole story about this kind of also annoyed me a little bit because again, I'm not going back to try to figure out the timing and try to figure out how this works, but it sounded like the dumbest thing ever when they explained that they went back and dug up Nick's body
yeah,
and cremated him, what was left. I'm like, "What?
yeah.
What?
Why?
Why haven't I heard of this before?"
Well, and Victor was going, oh, we were in a really dark place. We were on our way to find ammunition, but I also I do remember that episode and the flowers because Nick had been talking about there was some memory he was sharing,
Mhm.
and he was talking about these flowers.
Mhm.
So in theory, honestly, he would have been comfortable there
Mhm.
because he liked what he was seeing, and that's why the story was told, and it reminded him of his mom. Why would they go back and I mean and dig him up? I do understand that there was other pressing issues. How many people along this whole route from the beginning to where they stand right now have they buried and or left out exposed because they were in a bad situation?
Mhm.
It's not like they have big funerals.
So Charlie thought that he deserved a better place and that Madison would be able to would be the right person to pick the right place. How? Everyone thought she was dead.
Yeah. Well, I guess she left the ashes. I guess Charlie had been carrying them around and just decided to leave them for her to figure out what to do with. And honestly, at this point, the boy's been buried. He's been dug up, set on fire, and put in a jar or a can.
I'm sorry.
It,
And what
if
it takes to cremate a body, who is doing that
yeah, because
in the
effort,
apocalypse?
effort. My
Ugh,
guess is mostly what they have is in there is wood ash.
that is
But
so stupid.
yeah. But honestly, why even find a good place for him? If you want to carry this dead, if you want to carry Nick around, fine. Madison can hold on to that. It's her last connection with her son. Keep it. Whatever.
Mhm.
But you know, this whole he needed to be picked up and taken somewhere else. Well, fine. Put him in a nice jar and put him on the mantle. Whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know that sounds really mean, but again, it's been over 7 years for Madison since she's seen her kids. It's been what, 10 at least?
It's been a while,
Because there was a 7 year jump, and then she wasn't with him for 2 seasons, 3 seasons.
right?
So just going by a year, season a year, and I do believe there was a couple other time jumps, small ones anyway.
Mhm.
So it's been what at this point 12 years probably since she's seen her kids.
I don't know, it's been a very long time. At least it's around there, even if it's been like just a decade. It's been a long time.
Hmm.
And the rage, the level of rage coming off of her is like, unbelievable. Like this old woman basically swinging around this heavy ass weapon who can barely breathe. The comedy.
Yeah.
What is this?
Give the bitch a gun. Sorry. Just saying. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Her absolute indignation. Pulling out the arm to compare it to this
Oh
walk.
my god, you just gonna stick it on the yes, that is the dumb. Are you serious? Like, get out of here. Let me just see if this matches like a jigsaw puzzle.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing. She should have been obviously able to see that this was an old walker. But
Yes, it was too old.
even so, she should have been able to tell if it was her daughter or not.
That walker, the arm was cut way down.
Yeah.
That didn't even make sense. Like, that arm is so long. She's trying to match it up and it looks like ridiculous. And
It,
Victor's like, that's not her. It's not her.
it's not
Duh.
her, and even so, even with the missing arm, she, has she already forgotten what her daughter looks like?
I know her daughter would not look like that. Even as a walker, she would not look like that.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So, you know, it's traumatizing. Lady, it has been a decade. And
Well,
even if you thought your children were alive per se, you had already buried them in your heart because you never went looking for them.
now she is, though. She is now. She's going to go look for
Alicia.
Alicia. And honestly, I'm fine with it. Go on, girl, get out. Because I this is only 2 episodes on the back half of this season, and I'm like already tired of Victor yanking Madison off of people, kicking and screaming. I'm already tired of that. He's like holding her back, dragging her away. Like he's done that a lot of times already.
They never
Like
should
he's
have brought her
Madison's keeper now.
right. And they never should have brought her back. They never should have. And I know that there were fans out there screaming for this woman to come back.
Well,
But they
she's
never
not
should have
done.
done.
She'll be back. This is temporary.
I mean, they and like I said, I don't want this to be the case. But with the way they're coming up with these ridiculous stories and plot lines and twists, quote unquote, I'm going to say that kid of Troy's is either Alicia's daughter or some variation thereof.
Oh God.
And that way they can really just screw the knife into her chest that this is her granddaughter.
Make it make sense because I am gonna like have a conniption. I just can't. How?
I mean, the only thing, okay, hear me out on this one. The kid's not actually his. It's that one guy we were talking about last episode. The one that had been living in the car that Alicia had found. Where there
Mm-hmm.
were rumors that she was pregnant by him, and that's why she was so sick. It wasn't so much the zombie; it was her being pregnant. No one caught it or whatever. Um, Now along comes Troy, and either she is pregnant and in distress, or she is in labor, or she's just had the baby or something, but she's in desperate need. And Troy, quote unquote, saves her.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I just thought that you know how they make families. It's made families nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought maybe he rescued this kid from somewhere and this is like his adoptive daughter, right? Not
Right.
his blood daughter. And we don't know how old she is. We don't know anything right now.
We know that she is old enough to wander off to look at a tanker.
But that could be 6 or
Or
that could
seven.
be 15.
Right. It could be seven.
It could be 7. It could be 5. Well, then maybe not a 5-year-old, but a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, or a 12-year-old. It could
Yeah,
be anything.
exactly. And that's why, and we never even see her. So yeah, like I said, I don't want this. I'm just saying the ridiculous levels that are going on right now. This is going to be my guess that kid is Alicia's
Hmm.
because
But if that's the case, I hate plot holes with a passion. I hate them. And last season, when Alicia walked off,
mhm,
she was doing all these monologues and thinking about life and
and
all
setting
this
up a
stuff.
tower to tell people where to go or whatever.
She never mentions how could you think you're about to die and not mention a child you had?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. I
I
mean,
mean, there are a few cases every year of women actually delivering babies that they didn't know they were pregnant with. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And so the 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 fandom theory is the reason why she wasn't healing like she was supposed to and why she was so sick is she was actually pregnant and didn't know it. So when she wandered off, she didn't know. And
So are we talking like we have another like possible child that could be the savior, another child that was born to someone who was bitten?
God, I don't know.
Is that what we're doing?
No, I don't think they're going to do that. If that's the case, I don't think they're going to do that with this kid, because while Alicia was bitten, she did cut off her arm. All right, and yada yada yada. The fan, and again, like I said, the fan theory is the reason it wasn't the zombie bite that was making her so sick. It was just her being pregnant. And
Hell no. She was looking like death.
oh well, without modern medicine, a lot of women look like that when they're pregnant.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Well, I mean,
I don't have the energy to argue it. I'm just saying
I
no.
know. Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, she could have had a dozen different things wrong with her that, under modern circumstances, a doctor would give you a prescription for, or a something, some kind of treatment for, and so on and so forth. And because she had been bitten, she thought it was the bite, and instead it was pregnancy related issues.
Okay, somebody, anybody out there listening, do me a favor and tell me how long season 7 was. How long was that supposed to be from the time that she cut off her arm to the time that she walked off into the sunset? How long?
It wasn't that long. It wasn't. I think it was just a couple months,
Mhm.
a couple weeks even maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't that long, unfortunately.
So who was okay, so there was another part though when Madison was like, "Who did I take from what did I take from you?"
Right.
And he says something like, I should have
Doesn't
wrote down the
matter.
quote. But
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
like, what did you say, Lisa?
It basically said it doesn't matter.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe someone that she somehow took or killed or inadvertently, indirectly, maybe that's the baby mama.
Could be.
Or and maybe it's not something that she directly did, but like it was a byproduct of something she did.
Right. I don't know. Like I said, the only one that, like I said, because they're all about the surprise twist right now. That would be a surprise twist.
A surprise twist to me would be that Madison killed one of the baby's mothers that she was trying to steal, and they left another kid behind.
Yeah. Could have been
And they
that.
he found the kid or something.
Yeah.
I just don't really want it to be this Alicia thing. I just really don't.
I don't want it. Like I said, I don't want this storyline. I don't. But with the way that they are branding these characters around and having them do all this weird stuff, and you know the fact is bringing Troy back after all this time. I heard you on the radio. Well, how far out does that radio
Oh
go?
my god, that's
um
another thing. Me, you know how I feel about these stupid radios. And even with repeaters and stations and blah blah blah, this is over the top.
yeah.
They are anywhere at any time and they just use a radio to contact whoever they want, wherever they want.
Right. But they're not hearing anybody else's chatter, so
They're using it like their own personal cell phone.
right. Oh, I know. Well, and here's the other thing. So as I understand it, um Lusitania,
Who? Luciana?
Luciana, I'm never gonna get it tonight. I'm just not. um so she has a network that, as she says, goes from where they're at all the way to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they're like going around Texas at this point, but whatever. They
Mm-hmm.
have a network. That is what, four states, five states: Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Okay, four states. That's still a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
Troy would have been coming from California. How did he not encounter any of her network? How did not a single person in her network encounter his group?
Right.
Because even if they're trying to keep themselves somewhat a secret, messages could have been sent to Padre that said, you should be aware. Troy's coming for you.
Right.
And
Yeah, I
yet,
don't know.
and yet, somehow with her giant network with 4 states and, apparently, whatever, didn't know or never encountered these people. And they remind me of locusts that they come in and they just, they take what they want, they destroy whatever's left and then move on. Because again, they took this place that was beautiful and nice and sustaining and turned it into a, you know, hyena's den.
Basically. And if
I'm
they're
not,
leaving, if they're doing every place they come in contact with like that, oh my gosh.
she would have been aware of them just because of her network, even if she didn't come in direct contact with them. And
I
she
don't
would have
know.
had more skin in the game at that point because if he was actually going across the country, killing things and destroying things, she would have wanted to stop him.
Well, I guess we'll never know if something different could have happened if they had given up Madison right away instead of
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep her a secret. We'll never know if he would have done something different. Maybe he might have left them, or maybe he was just talking mess and he would have done that anyway.
Right. It's hard to say. And, and Charlie made the point. Don't do it because it doesn't matter if you give him Padre or not. It's not Padre he wants. It's you miserable.
Yeah.
It's your, it's you to suffer.
And the Walkers Without Arms is proof of that. He
Right.
just wants to torture her.
Right. And because he could have killed her on at least 2 occasions now, and he has not. Because the point is he wants her to suffer. And he told
Yeah.
her, when they were all tied up, well, first I'm going to kill Victor, then I'm going to kill all these other people, but I'm going to leave you alive.
Well, you know what? After, Charlie decided to make her choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
After she did that, Madison was standing so close to Troy. If she had a weapon that she could just slide out of her pocket like a knife, she could have attacked him right then and there.
Yeah,
Stab him a couple of times and be done with it.
right. Well, and here's the part I don't understand. Why didn't they just set up some sharpshooters and wait for him to walk outside and just kill him?
Yeah, or that.
The simple solutions.
Because it's too easy. They want us to see all this drama, even if it's stupid drama.
You know,
Drama for the sake of drama.
yeah. I'm just letting you know I'm going with snipers and Madison doesn't get to live in my apocalypse.
She gets mixed up in the mess. Oops.
Yeah, oopsie. Damn shame.
I don't know. I can't. I cannot. I I don't know. When I sat down for yesterday's episode, I was kind of like excited to see what was going to happen, and I'm literally sitting there just talking out loud, laughing, making rude comments about it. I just
There was a lot on my part of, are you kidding me?
yes. Like really? Are we really?
This is
Okay.
bad. Seriously, this is where you decided to go.
Mhm.
This is the final thing. This is the big finale. The coup de grace of this entire show. And this is where we're at. You're kidding me.
They are not. They are not, unfortunately. So we have what? 4 more episodes. So we know next episode is like Dwight and Sherry are like the forerunners of that episode. And of course, June. I think we saw June in the preview. Um, And then Madison's back. I saw the little artwork for episode 10. So like I said, Madison is really not gone. She back. They not gonna let her just walk off.
No, she's gonna have some grand finale appearance thing. I don't know. And
I
again,
want her to find Alicia though. If you're gonna make us deal with all this extra garbage, at least find your daughter. Make it worth it.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's all just dumb.
It is though. It is. Um yeah, I don't
I
know. I have
and
nothing else.
well, and here's the thing. After Daryl Dixon, I was actually pretty hopeful for Fear the Walking Dead because they've had their ups and downs, but once they got out of the apocalypse, it was better. And they've had some really good strong seasons prior to the apocalypse, or the new nuclear one, sorry,
Yeah.
I should say.
Right.
So I was hoping that they would go back to that kind of storytelling. And apparently with Madison there, they're not.
They're
And
going backwards a little bit.
they're bringing back all of Madison's garbage, all of her baggage. Every episode here has been, oh, look at all the trash that Madison didn't take out.
Mhm.
These are all of her worries and disappointments and poor decisions, and all of this season so far has just been, look at what a terrible person Madison is and all the lies she has screwed up. Because she could have made, I mean, she says that, she goes on, if I hadn't brought in Charlie, I could have saved my kids. And that's probably true. But there's other things that Madison has done that could have saved her kids. And she made a lot of dumb decisions that put her in that position anyway.
Right. But
So,
like Victor said, you never no one you make the best decision that you think you can at the time.
right,
And if it wasn't that, if it wasn't Charlie, then it could have been something else because
right,
Nick was an idiot.
right. Nick was an idiot.
So, it could have been
Although
something else.
he did say, well, how did he put it? He says, I really thought, Nick was going to be a survivor because, you know, he wasn't so good in the life before, but he was made for this.
Ugh.
And he was kind of. I mean,
I guess.
it, you know, the little heroin addict was, built for wandering
Wandering
around
the
zombies.
streets. Yeah, I
He
guess.
blended.
Yeah, he did. He
And
kind
he
of
was one of
did.
the first ones in that side of the show that figured out that if you just don't emote, you know, you can blend. Now he often covered himself with blood, but there was a couple of times where he was high, and he just, because he was out there, plodding along, he just fell in with the walkers. They didn't even notice him
Stumbling around.
stumbling around because he was one of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, in some ways he was just kind of built for the apocalypse more so than the others. And but Madison, throughout the seasons from between the time she was there until she came back, just made bad decisions. Even when she wasn't on screen and she was off with Padre, she was still making bad decisions.
100%. Which was part of my problem with the last episode. Like you're calling out Victor for changing his name and not telling every single thing about him. But do you go around saying, "Hi, I'm Madison. I stole kids for 7 years"?
Right.
No, you don't. So like, why,
Exactly.
why are you riding him so bad? Like, let him be.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, she could
this
have.
character is such a hypocrite.
I mean, and she could have said, when she's like, "No, it's Victor." No, you're mistaken. And he said, "No, you're mistaken." She
Oh,
could
my
have left it
bad.
there. Yeah. Oh, okay. You look like someone I knew.
Right.
And she could have then slid up to him later and went, okay,
What the hell going on?
yeah, WTF.
Yeah.
And, and honestly, if I was in her position, I would have gone, I may not agree with it that you're not telling the truth about yourself, but I haven't seen you in 10 to 12 years, and I guess you get to make life choices without me. You know?
Yes. Yes. Madison is such a hypocrite. I cannot. Please fix her. Fix her before the end. Do something.
Hmm. How about her dying? That would make me happy.
God. I don't think they'll do that. I mean, that would be really mean. I feel like they went through all this effort to get her back on this show. They're not going to let her go out dead, I don't
I
think.
don't know. They brought in Charlie and then blew her up, or had
Yeah.
to blow her head off. So so that was a wasted reunion.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, why did they do that? Just more drama.
More drama. Well, and it also got what's his name out of Madison's group and into the other.
Oh yeah, Daniel. It got him to move.
Repositioned it. It's made it gave her an excuse to leave the group. I guess. I suppose at this point Victor's probably going to try and be in charge. Betcha, bet.
You know what? He naturally tries to take charge, even though at the hotel he was not the one in charge. He looked like he was a part of a council of some kind.
Right, there's a council. Now,
So, yeah.
now if they took that council and they put it over there on Padre, I'd be okay with that because I think they would make better decisions and make it a lot better there than what they had than what they have under Madison.
And plus, Victor already tried to be the dictator. He already tried to be in charge and it didn't work.
Right,
And supposedly now he has this family that he loves. So for his personality to just flip again, that would be so asinine.
right. We had him, saving a bird at the beginning of last episode to,
Mhm.
I'll be dictator again. No, no, Victor, sit down.
Mhm.
Just sit down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on. And I don't approve.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what shakes out, but
Mhm.
yeah, this isn't ending so great for me. So, but we will persevere. We will continue.
Yeah, we'll be here next week.
Yes, we will be here next week talking about episode 9. We'll see how that goes. I'm done with 8. Are you done, Lisa?
I'm done.
All right. Yeah, I think we've said our piece.
It wasn't nice, but it was
No.
said.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you guys, thank you for listening to the entire episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you are listening because, again, we'll be back next week and you want to make sure you get that notification. If you enjoyed the chat, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you are listening as well. And we'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.